Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, My Sexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. And please hit that bell icon so you never miss an episode. So today I'm reviewing this film. It's Magic Mike, Last Dance, the final D's. So yes, what do I think of this? So in case you don't want spoilers, do not watch this if you don't want spoilers. If you want to know more about this film, carry on watching. So Magic Mike is a guy called Mike who's actually a stripper. And as a person who's sex repulsed, asexual for me, who doesn't like nudity, I've really got out of my comfort zone by going to see this because it's based on a stripper, but this person who is Magic Mike is played by Channing Tatum. Now, I was reading up about this, and Channing Tatum, the actor, he actually used to be a stripper in his younger days, younger years. And so this film is kind of based a bit on his childhood. It's like well, I shouldn't say childhood, to be a stripper is like, like late teens. So yeah, I believe he was in his late teens when he was a stripper, but anyway, younger years. And so basically, I haven't watched the first one because it looked full of stripper stuff. But the reason I wanted to watch this one was because I like Channing Tatum. He's a really good dancer, and it predominantly looked like it was dancing, and I absolutely love dance movies. Channing Tatum is actually in the Step Up movies. So I've got 5 of them, and he's in 1 and 2, I believe, as well. So yes, he's really, really good dancer, and I do think he's good looking. He's not Indian. He hasn't got coloured skin, but I still think he's good looking. He doesn't seem to age, and I really like that about him. So basically, I also like this storyline a lot because this lady is older. She's an older woman, and he's meant to be 40 in this, although he doesn't look 40. But I am assuming from the storyline that she is older than him. And basically what happens is she's gone away for a month because her husband betrayed her and went with another woman who was 35 years old, younger than her, but 35 years old, I think, from memory. Anyway, he went off with a younger woman and she decided to go abroad. She met Magic Mike, and she decided that she wanted to have basically a lap dance by him because she'd heard about his reputation. She's got loads of money, and so this film shows you their lap dance. Now, I do have a very, very shocking confession to make. Although I was somewhat uncomfortable with the lap dance, I didn't even know it was a lap dance when he was doing it, because I always thought lap dancing was when a woman took her top off, flashed her boobs basically in pubs and bars and stuff, did like pole dancing as well, and basically kind of came and sat on a guy's lap in the pub with no top on. That's what I thought it was. So I was quite surprised to see a guy doing a lap dance. So I didn't even know it was. So basically, what he does is he moves his body and gives her a sexual experience, if you like, but with her clothes on. And he's basically using his genitalia to touch different parts of her body to turn her on. But it's not just genitalia, he's got his legs wrapped around her, he's touching her in certain ways. So it's a very sensual, sexual experience. It's not just sexual, it's very sensual, very tantalizing, titillating. And so I actually like the fact it's passion without sex. I felt a bit uncomfortable because it was 2 people obviously doing that. And I got uncomfortable a bit seeing it, but I do have like the shocking confession to make that I like doing some of that type of stuff myself in a serious committed relationship, though not to a stranger. And so basically, when I kiss a guy very passionately, because I'm really into kissing, I'm a hyper romantic, asexual. With the way I move my body, it's like up and down his body as I'm kissing him, because I kiss his mouth and I kiss down his chest and go back up again, but I'm moving my top and bottom as I'm doing that. So I recognize some of those movements he did, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm really good at doing that. I can do that type of thing with a guy, but only in a serious committed relationship." And so that might be quite shocking for you because you might be like, "Oh my god, it's too sexy for an asexual who's says she's sex repulsed, but I've always liked passion without sex." And I'm thinking that's the type of thing I want, that in a relationship where it's like lots of touching with the body, but with clothes on, and it's very passionate and sensual and exciting and explosive and an experience, but with the clothes on. And so I kind of really liked the movie from the point of view, it's like, "Oh my god, those are the type of moves that I like to do," and I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't even know it was called lap dancing. It feels a bit weird now even saying that, but I didn't even know it was called that. And so, like I said, I thought it was a woman taking her clothes off. I'm not interested in taking my clothes off, not these days. So, yeah, it did quite surprise me that I quite like the fact I saw it in the sense that, oh, I thought I can do that type of thing, and that would really turn a guy on, but I don't want sex. So at this stage, they don't have sex. Basically, he gives her experience. She pays says she'll pay 60 grand, but then no, she goes to six. And she has this wonderful experience with him, and it really changes her life. And then to cut a long story short, she basically employs him to be a director of play in London. So she takes him to London, she pays for him to go to London, she pays for him to stay with her basically. And he gets to meet her daughter. And basically, he falls in love with her and she falls in love with him. But the soon to be ex-husband is saying, "Oh, he doesn't really like you. He's just playing you, and you're just another woman to him." But he does actually love her, and so she gets a bit doubtful and thinks it's because of her age and stuff, because her soon to be ex-husband makes her feel that way. But actually, he genuinely loves her because she understands him and she cares about him, and he does that with her. And they do a lot of dancing together as well. Obviously in that part of the movie, the seduction part, but they just look really good together. But basically, she hires him as a dance director of a stripper play, sorry, in London. And she hires him, and he's a creative director and everything, but he said he's not gonna dance again in public, but he does actually dance in the end, and he dances what I thought was a bit weird. He danced with another girl, not with the woman, but the girl was supposed to represent his feelings for this older woman, and I love the fact she was an older woman, and the younger guy really loved her, and he hasn't, like, met the right person until he met her, and they go really, really well together. So I really like that part of the movie. I loved the like love between the older woman and the younger guy. I loved I did like the kind of erotic dancing part with just them two. When they were on stage and they were doing it with a really old women and well, not all really old women, and they were doing it in public, there was lots of guys. I wasn't keen on that so much. I just thought that's really like kind of like ugh. But when it was in private, when Channing Tatum's character was doing it in private with the woman, and it was just between them, and it was a very special and precious moment that I did like in the special and precious moment way. But when it's just like completely for like show and stripping to show off, and it's really sexual, there's no love there. I didn't like that at all. So for me personally, in order to do that type of thing, I'd have to love the person in order to do a lot of stuff like that. I have done intimate stuff with guys I'm not in a relationship with, like in clubs and stuff and kissing, but that type of thing I would want just in a relationship, like full on like that. But I do believe you can have passion without sex, and that movie proves it. So I really liked that. And they do, in fact, at that point say that they're not having sex. And she's trying to pretend she doesn't love him. He's trying to like not say he loves her, but he does. And he gets to know her daughter, and her daughter gets on really well with him in the end. And so basically he puts on this production, and like I said, the only thing I thought was a bit weird is he has this other girl. She's actually like she's actually nearly semi-naked, so she's basically in like a bikini thing, and they do all this kind of act at the end where is in water and, yeah, doing very sensual, erotic stuff. But I didn't like the fact he didn't have her, the older woman, that because I would like to have seen them done the last dance together. I thought the whole point, even on the trailer, I thought it looked like she was dancing with him, and I was disappointed that he danced with another girl, which was supposed to be representative of his love for her, and he said afterwards, "I love you," and they ended up being happy ever after together. But I didn't like the fact it was a younger girl he was doing that with, who was pretty much hardly got any clothes on. I thought, like, why didn't they put it that he actually held his hand out to the older woman and then she came and danced on stage, the final dance, because I felt that would have been much better end to the movie. I was disappointed that it wasn't her dancing with him. All along, I thought, come on, you two need to dance together, that would have just made the show so much better, I think, and made the actual movie so much better, but they didn't do that. They put this young girl in, I'm guessing for entertainment purposes, but I just thought this is just not right. What he should have done is, like, said no and then gone with the older woman who he does actually love and had her in this show at the very end. She should have been in it, and she should have been in it with him, and they should have all been gobsmacked then or something and decided that they wanted to keep the theatre open because it was gonna shut. That's the ending I would have liked to have seen, and I would have thought that's a much better ending. But yeah, I do like that type of dancing. I am really, really good at dancing, and so I can do sexy dancing like that. And so yeah, I actually, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, "Oh my god, I can do this type of thing." Like, I like passion without sex. I love it says the final T, so I guess I like the T stuff. I like the excitement stuff without the actual intercourse. I like all the touching and, like, body movements together and stuff like that. It kind of really excites me in a good way, I think. But I wouldn't be wanting to do it with a stranger. So yeah, that's a confession I've got to make, and I'm like, "Oh, I can do that," and it was good for me to be able to recognize that because I didn't know that was a thing, you know? Anyway, I hope you've, liked this movie review. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Share in your comments below what you think of the movie if you've seen it. Did you like the erotic, sensual dancing in it? Did you like what happened between the older woman and the younger guy? Did you think it was, like, too sexual? Did you think it was too much? What did you think? I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Lots of love. Bye.